What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live right here. You might be watching us on Twitch. You may be watching us on YouTube. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Brings a different energy to the show, right? Just brings a different energy getting
that. Been missing it. Been missing the tunes.
As Jake says, the fast break vibes right now. That's why I chose this song, Dave. It was between it's a royalty-free song called Victory. That was the intro to our WWE podcast that we did with Pete. The one that shout out Pete. One that Sean messaged us and we're like, hey, didn't you guys use this intro for something? Because he found a podcast that used the same one. So I thought of that and I'm like, nuh-uh, can't be the same. This is the only one that I know that uses this song. We're probably not, but who knows? It's the only one in my memory.
I feel like we should somehow. Do you still have the super cut of the crab trip pulls Fred?
I do.
From the OG?
I do. Well, it's on YouTube, Dave. We got receipts.
That's what I'm saying.
We should make a shirt that says, we got receipts.
I love that idea.
We got receipts.
I 100% love that idea.
But we got a jam-packed show today talking about basketball and then just the Salt Bay, Dave, a little sprinkling of football at the end, talking a little, pushing all the trade stuff to the end, Dave, because I know it's been a lot.
Are we allowed to do that?
It's going to be a lot of trade news from now until the end. We have two big trade news stories for the day. Before we get into everything, though, a little bit of housekeeping. Number one, if you are not in the MVP Discord, you're behind the eight ball. You're missing out on all the greatest communications and conversations that are going on between us and the MVP faithful, the MVP fans. You can do that by joining the greatest community in the universe with the link down below or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. If you would like to support us, number two, you can go to patreon.com/MVPvids, become a bronze, silver, gold, platinum subscriber, a patron. We love our patrons. We love anyone who can support us. But if you can't, hey, that's cool too. Just watching support's all the same. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Pat Hill. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch and be rewarded like a bronze patron. Amazon Prime, they give you Prime Gaming each and every month. Why not throw it at us and get rewarded for doing so? We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. We're also on YouTube at MVP Sports as well. Also, today's show, Dave and I repping it, is brought to you by MANSCAPED. We will talk about them later. And Dave, we're diving into the basketball real early on this show. We got two primed NBA topics. The first one has to do with a team that is playing tonight. They play who do they play tonight? I completely forgot. They're not playing the Raptors. That's who the Celtics are playing. They are playing the Houston Rockets in Houston. That is the Miami Heat, Dave. This is a team has been complete shit most of the season.
Wow,
and they have not been where we expected them to be. Now, are there reasons why they are there? There are some pretty
for more than
big
3
reasons.
seconds.
Little bit of COVID reasons why they might not be where we thought they were. But Dave, this is a team. Tonight they play, so of course we're kind of doing this. Usually don't like to do it on the nights they play, but you know, this team, since Jimmy Butler has come back, is 4-2 in their last 6. Only losses coming, a 103-100 loss to Washington, and then a 129-121 overtime loss to LaMelo
It's okay to lose to LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, the rookie of the year, the guy who leads the rookies in everything this year, king of the rookies, as some would say. Dave, I'm just going to be quick and simple. Are the Miami Heat back? Are they back on track to be the team we thought they were going to be before the season started?
I mean, they're back on track, absolutely. This is a team that desperately needed the leadership of Jimmy Butler on the court. Like, it was, you know, watching them struggle to start the season without their veterans out there really sucked. Like, I think it was a reality check for a lot of Miami fans who were like, Tyler Hero's the future. He is so good. We wouldn't trade him for James Harden straight up. Like,
straight up.
Get the fuck out of Dodge. Like, that was a horrible take. I think that the team clearly has a lot of hope and a lot of great bright spots. Bam Adebayo cannot carry a team offensively. And without having another ball handler out there like Jimmy Butler, the looks that Duncan Robinson was getting were lesser. The looks that Tyler Hero were getting were worse. Like, it really does, like, not having someone who is as much of a floor raiser, perhaps ceiling raiser as well, as Jimmy Butler out there, definitely hurts a team that is, some of the parts is greater than the whole.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Jimmy came back, just some of his stats. The first game back against the Kings, he just dropped 30 points. No big deal. I know they only won by 1 point to the Kings, but drops 30, 25, 19, 14, 17, and 26. And Dave, like you said,
well, you're not even dropping the tertiary stats, the assists, the rebounds, the steals.
Like the last game, 26, 8, and 10. The night before, 17, 10, and 9. He has done a little bit of everything, and like that's the
he's
thing
a near triple-double every night since he's been back.
Oh, that's one thing today. I was trying to think, if you're going rebounds or assists, where do you go? Which is he going to get more of? I don't know. I didn't know. But also, he's a guy that, what has he done in the last 2 games, Dave? 13 of 15 and 11 of 12. He gets to the GD line.
And that's Jimmy Butler's game. Draw contact. He's, the crazy thing was when he came back from COVID and his massive weight loss, it was very clear that Jimmy Butler had to get back to the gym, start adding on mass again, because he was a much thinner player than we had all remembered him from that finals run. So I'm excited that he's going back and getting contact. I think he'll be able to finish better through contact. Again, his shooting percentages aren't great. I believe he did make his first 3-pointer of the year against the Knicks in his last game. So he got that monkey off his back. He's not in the Ben Simmons club of can't make a 3.
Yeah.
But it's those percentages from the floor. He will always demand the respect, but will he get the ability to knock down those shots? I think yes, as the season goes on, the strength will come on. So I'm very excited for Jimmy back and leading this team the way he usually does.
Well, and also Jake throws the joke in Twitch chat of like, in 3 games, what's wrong with the Miami Heat? I don't know if we'll get to that point in 3 games. And the reason why, I know Jake is joking, but looking ahead, like tonight, they do play a lot of their games. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They start a 7-game road trip before coming back home for like 5 games and then playing 1 game in New Orleans to end the first half of their season. And it's like, some of the road games I think are winnable. Like tonight against Houston. Houston's been a team where on paper, I think they're better than what we've seen out there, win and losses wise. But at the same time, they've had a lot of like, well, John Wall's out this game. Okay, John Wall's back, but Victor Oladipo's out. Okay, Victor Oladipo's back, but then Christian Wood is out.
Jae'Sean Tate, probably top 5 in Rookie of the Year voting, if people are being realistic. This kid is a
top 3.
stud.
Top
What's
3,
up?
Dave. Top 3.
I think a lot of people
on the name.
I think a lot of people are still in. I mean, look, Halliburton's 2, Pat Williams is 3. We all understand that's the pecking order, but after that, it's very cloudy. I think we're honest. Jae'Sean Tate, probably number 4 on my board for Rookie of the Year. So it's just, they're a very fun team to watch. But like you said, their lineup is different every single night.
Yeah, and then after the Rockets, Jake beat me to it. They have their toughest tests. Well, really, I think the next 3 after the Rockets are tough tests because you have the Jazz on the road in Utah. We talked about them yesterday being the best team in the league. The Clippers, where the thing is, I think, if I'm yet again speculating, I think Paul George will be back with the Clippers by the time the Heat and Clippers play Monday the 15th. So that's going to be a tough test on the road. And then Golden State, where Golden State as a team is not threatening. Golden State as a player, Steph Curry, is threatening. To where, what Steph Curry are you going to get? Are you going to get the 52-point Steph Curry? Are we going to get the normal, like, 32, 31, 33?
It's Kelly Oubre who makes shots or the Kelly Oubre who misses shots?
Damn, that is a 50-50 prop every night. Does he make over 1.5 threes?
I would say that is more than likely not, but when he goes off, he goes off.
I feel like I am the Evan Foxy of Oubre over-unders on threes, because whenever I bet him to go over, he goes under. Whenever I bet him to go under, he goes over. That is an anomaly I've just stopped looking at. But yet again, if he fucking starts hitting, then the Warriors are a tough team. After that, it's like, all right, the Kings should be winnable. Lakers will be tough. OKC, I say, should be winnable. But yet again, if Shea, Luke, and Stort, if they can go off in the the torture chamber can get after Jimmy Butler.
He puts the hand in the face. He's doing this for you. He's doing this the whole night. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with that? What's going on there?
I loved Worldwide Wob when I saw that. The torture chamber. I'm gonna start using that as his nickname from now on.
Dort's defense on LeBron James to end the game was hilarious, and I think everybody loved it, and especially everybody but LeBron James, whose old ass is out there playing 41 minutes to try to close out a game against the goddamn Thunder, which is hilarious.
I feel like
he airballed the shot, by the way. For those spoilers, LeBron airballed the shot after getting put through Lou Dort, hitting with him the "you can't see me."
Yeah, I also saw a thing on Twitter today where it's like it was LeBron like laying out like this on the floor, and it's like LeBron after playing 3 straight games of 4 overtimes because they played 2 against the Pistons, 1 against the Thunder, and then 1 more against the Thunder.
That's
yesterday.
Insane. All the minutes.
After that, the home stretch after that, you get Utah at home, but yet again, that should be like it's going to be a tough game at home, but it's like, okay, we recently saw them. It's going to be kind of like, let's look back to that. We haven't seen them that far ago. Atlanta right now, they look to be hot or cold, yes or no? Are they in there? Are they out? I don't know. The Raptors, same thing. It's like they're a team to where it's like, are they going to be as good as we thought they were? The news came out they will finish the rest of the year as the Tampa Bay Raptors. They will not be going back to Toronto.
No one.
And then even the game in New Orleans, like, I mean, if the Bulls can beat you, then the Miami Heat can beat you, right?
I mean,
anyone. Zach LaVine can drop 40 plus. Jimmy Butler can score 50, right? That's how the universe works.
It is possible. It would be a long time at the free throw line for Jimmy Butler to get to 50, but he could do it.
He takes like 25 shots, makes all of them. Half of his points come from the free throw
honestly
line.
Has and could do again.
Mm-hmm. But, like, that's the thing. Where the teams ahead of the Heat, I don't see the Bulls making a push for the playoffs. Like, yeah, they won last
I don't
night.
know, Ricky. If the Sweet Life continues to play up, we don't know.
Yet again, Kobe had a good game. Does he continue that? Because he has not been playing so hot leading up into last night. It's just like, really, the thing with the Heat, it's how well can they play, but also how well can they play compared to the Knicks are a team. We're going to talk about them later. They look to be a playoff team. Are they done making moves to make themselves better for a playoff run? We'll see about that. The Hawks, to me, we're going to talk about them next. They have another injury to add to the table. Is that going to hurt them in the long run? This one was from Monday that we weren't able to talk about until today.
Monday is like 3 weeks ago now in my brain.
Pretty much, but yeah, again, haven't looked at the Hawks a lot this season. Thought we'd have a talk about them. And then the Hornets, where they've been playing. After that, it's like Hornets are playing their hottest ball. You're not going to catch the Celtics, Nets, Bucks, or Sixers at the top. It's just, do the Heat make the playoffs, and where do they fall between, to me, the 6, really the 7 to the 7 or 8? Because
really,
are they going to catch the Pacers too? They're a team that's not playing too hot either. So maybe 6 through 8, maybe, unless you think they can climb all the way to 5.
Ricky, I mean, it's literally like 3 games.
Good point. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong numbers, Dave. I'm looking at the left. I should be looking at the right.
Like, there is absolutely a chance that this Heat team can work their way all the way up to like 4.
Okay.
Like, that's not a problem. It's 1 through 3 is untouchable. I will say that. I will say, like, unless there's a massive heater and a sinker, not Suns, 76ers, Bucks, Nets are in their own league, and then it's everybody else.
Okay.
So when you have a 12 and 11 team versus a 10 and 14, no, there's not a big difference there.
Good point. I mean, yeah, we talk about all this season, how this year everything's going to be compacted. Yep. Like I said, looking at the wrong number. Should be looking at the right and not the left. Like you said, it's a game and a half between 5th and where the Heat are right now at, they'd be at 11th. I just worry about, yet again, the reason why with me, I got to think of the Celtics the only reason I put the Celtics in the top 3 that you did is because are the Celtics going to be a team that can match the Miami Heat, where it's like, not when they play together or play against each other, but when they play, like if the Heat win, okay, that same night or the night after, the Celtics also win. So it's like, you get a win, but we also get a win. You get a loss. Okay, we got a loss. To where it's like, great, we're not gaining any games on them because they keep winning when we win, kind of a thing.
I think they do have quite a bit of games against each other still this year.
They do. Yet again, haven't seen the second half of the schedule, too. So we don't know what's coming up in the second half. All we know is the
they could just play the Spurs for 30 straight games. What do you think's going to happen in the second half of this? I'm sorry. Like, that was me being a dick.
I don't know how many times they play in the second half. That's the thing. I don't know what the NBA's thinking. They're like, ooh, we're not going to release the second half. It's like, we're getting pretty close to it. You're going to tell us who everyone's playing? That's all I'm saying, Dave. Mad Rogue says if they manage to actually trade for Vic, they're guaranteed top 4. I don't think they're getting Vic this year. I don't think
the only game against
the Rockets trade him.
Boston and the Heat was postponed. Okay. So they have yet to play, which means they will at least play 3 times in the second half. Okay. Oh, I take it back. They did play 1 game. They did play 1. It was a 105, 107.
So they'll play at least 2 times?
I think it'll still be at least 3 times for the rest of the year.
Okay. So at least 3 times then in the second. Was that in Boston or in Miami?
That was at Miami.
Okay. So then if they play 3 more times, probably 2 at Boston, 1 at Miami. So you think, if gun to your head, you have to make a prediction, you think that the Miami Heat are 5? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting 5-6, kind of in that area. I think the Celtics, like I said, they're not out of it to get to the 4th. That means the Heat are not out of it. But, like, to me, I feel like the Celtics are going to pick things up in the second half when everyone is back and healthy. Raptors are a question mark. Pacers are just they have lost a string of games. Is that going to continue into the All-Star break? And then how do they come out of the All-Star break? That's going to be a big thing because he asked me about a month ago. I would have said the Pacers are one of the best teams in the East outside of those top 3. And then otherwise, besides the Hornets, Hawks, Knicks, and Bulls are all question marks as well. The other story, this one from earlier in the week, the Atlanta Hawks, DeAndre Hunter did have surgery. I believe it's a knee surgery that he had. He's going to be, the timetable is unspecific. All we know is that he will miss at least 2 weeks, then be reevaluated. The article here from ESPN says the Hawks have been without guard Bogdan Bogdanovic for a month because of a knee injury. Hunter, enjoying a breakout season as a starting small forward, missed 4 games before Monday's arthroscopic procedure on his right knee. His status will be updated in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, we'll see what happens from there. I'm not expecting a 2 weeks and then, okay, you're good to go right away. It may be like a 3-4 week thing. Where some people are saying, Dave, how is this going to affect the Hawks, if it will? I don't want to be like the will it, because yes, it will affect the Hawks, but how will this affect the Atlanta Hawks in your mind?
Losing one of the most efficient scoring 2-way wings is going to hurt you a little bit. I would agree with that. It's not to say they don't have a lot of depth on this team, because they do, because they literally added in 5 vets in free agency. Obviously, it sucks that Bogdanovic unavailable still, but Cam Reddish gets more minutes, which makes me happier as a person. So, end of the day, I'm pretty cool with this whole situation. Hopefully, Hunter's good long term. That's all that really matters to me. But in the meantime, like, the Hawks are the Hawks. It's really just if Trae Young plays up, they can make sure that, hey, John Collins will get his. Clint Capella's been playing well. Like I said, Cam Reddish hit or miss any given night. Like he doesn't have a consistency to his game yet, but he's still got a lot of effort. They're not a bad team. It's just it's so dependent on Trae Young now that Hunter is gone, because Hunter was that consistency piece of their offense.
Yeah, I mean,
and Herter's been stepping up, to his credit.
Herter stepped up. He had 19, 20 points last night in the win against the Dallas Mavericks.
23.
The Bogdan thing, they've been without him since January 9th. So it's been, forever since he got injured in Charlotte. To me, the thing that I look at is, so it says 2 weeks until Hunter's reevaluated. So 2 weeks from the 9th, which was Tuesday when the story was first released. That's going to be Tuesday the 23rd. That means the Hawks will have games against the Spurs, Pacers, Knicks, 2 against the Celtics, 1 against Denver. The 23rd will be Cleveland. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games where they're not going to have him. What I'm thinking what happens is, because I don't think it's going to be a reevaluation and, okay, you're good to play the next day because they have a game the 24th. There's a part of me that goes, since you only have one more week of play before the All-Star break, one more week would be the second, which would be right the day before their last game of the first half against the Magic. There's a thought in my mind of, do you just reevaluate it and go, hey, you know what? I know we have 5 games left, but we're going to keep you out these last 5 games, give you that extra rest going into the All-Star break so that you're really good and ready for us to start the second half.
Makes a lot of sense. You might want to, work him in for a couple minutes here and there towards those last 5 games, even if it was just like, hey, minutes restriction kind of a thing. Obviously, you don't rush him. If he's not healthy, don't play him. But, without knowing any fucking information on this injury, absolutely fucking literally none, not a doctor, I would say, work him in slowly. If he gets medically cleared and there's 5 games to go, give him, a handful of minutes in each game, see if he can play his way back up, see if it feels good, because that way you can extend his rehab time. Hey, he plays 15 minutes. Maybe there's some soreness. Maybe he needs to take the next night off, and then he'll come back and, game 1, game 3, game 5 instead of every night.
Yeah, after how the games are played and spaced out in those last 5. So he'll be reevaluated on the 23rd. That next night, the 24th, they play Boston. So just picture it to where he's not going to play that one in my mind. Then it's Friday the 25th against OKC at OKC. Then Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So for me, if thinking about what you're doing, they could easily do hey, if you're good to go against OKC, we're going to throw you out there for about 15 minutes, no more than that, see how you're doing. And then if it's hey, he's got to take the first night in Miami off and he can play Tuesday, then at least you're getting 2 games with him to try to work them back before that. But it's going to be interesting that it'll be 1 week, then that extended break. I don't even know. Do we know how long the All-Star break is going to be this year?
No, we have no idea.
Yeah, everything's
It could be 4 days, it could be 7 days, it could be 8 days,
Yeah. So that's the thing with me just with this is, are they going to do the your side, work them in, have them play some of those 5 games, or just say, fuck it, keep them out. We'll keep you coming back ready, fresh to go.
If he's 100% ready before that date, then why not play him? If he's not, you don't play him. I don't think there's any discussion there. I'm sorry. This is just we're not doctors, and if he's healthy, he can play. If he's not, then he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if I'm not expecting, when they say he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks, that in my mind says, well, they're not expecting him to be 100%. If it was it should take 2 weeks to heal, wouldn't they usually just say, oh, he'll be out 2 weeks? Not the whole. Usually when it's like the Wendell Carter, he'll be evaluated in 2 weeks. Then he was reevaluated, and it's okay, now he's out for the 4 weeks he was out for. I'm expecting that may be the case of, hey, you had the surgery, let's see how it heals. Boom, make our decision then. And that's why with me, I may not expect him to play the rest of this first half, which with the Hawks right now, kind of they're a team that I feel like, yet again, injury is because of this. They haven't gotten on a hot streak. And yet again, you could throw that into Trae Young as a player has kind of been streaky to where it's it has 30 points, has 2019. It's he's been a little hot and cold, but yet again, when you have so many injuries and you have a guy like DeAndre Hunter, who, why did they draft him, Dave, to not just play well offensively, but to have a defensive factor next to Trae Young too.
On that, right next to him, but yes, next to him on the court. They need guys who can defend next to Trae because he's still a terrible defender in all effective rights and metrics.
But Dave, let's go into our favorite segment, the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys. What are wet boys? They are the players of the game from the day prior. For myself, for Dave, for the patrons. Patrons at the silver, gold, and platinum level get to vote on a wet boy each and every day. So become a patron today in order to vote for a wet boy and join in on the voting. Dave, we're going to start with you like we always do. Who's your wet boy? February 11th, 2021.
Well, there were a couple of really good games last night, and I felt I had the duty, nay, the honor, to steal Zach LaVine as the wet boy from Ricky Widmer, because Ricky always jokes about it's Bull, it's a Warrior, or it's an Illini player. So I had to go in there. I had to snake Zach LaVine.
The comment section does, but I'm aware of what I do.
It's a fact.
I'm aware of what I do. I'm not oblivious to it.
Zach LaVine, been one of the hottest players, should be the player of the week this week. He's just on a heater of games. This Bulls team is seemingly getting back to a 500 team. We are playoff bound right now. Clearly a 500 team will get you to the playoffs in the East, thank God. But it's very much up to the rest of this team because good Lord, can he shoot lights out, and it doesn't fucking matter some nights. Tonight, he and Kobe White did something that has never been done before. First backcourt to both make 8 3-pointers in a game. First one ever. That's incredible. That is 8 3-pointer, or it was actually 9 from Zach, but 8 for each of them. And that was through 3 quarters they did that, which is insanity. Like how good they were shooting, how much offense they were piling in. So credit to the Sweet Life, credit to Zach LaVine, should be player of the week. Absolutely a max contract player. And, fuck all those other teams who are trying to trade for him right now.
And Dave, Mad Rogue has a point. He said, isn't that 4 Wet Boys now? It is. We have a new leader in the clubhouse, Dave. Zach LaVine, your top NBA wet boy getter right now. He has now said Steph Curry, Malcolm Brogdon, Joel Embiid. Get the fuck out of here. I'm the only one that can sit on the wet boy of the year throne right now, as he is the early leader in this early season for the year.
To be fair, his last 3 games are 39, 35, and 46. He's literally Bradley Beal of last year. I don't know what more you want from him. He's Bradley Beal playing better defense. He's doing everything he can. His shooting splits are hilarious. Like he's so fucking incredibly efficient. There's not enough praise for someone like Zach LaVine on this team, and I'm glad that Billy Donovan's loving the Zach LaVine run.
Yeah. For me, Dave, because Zach LaVine was off the table, I had to go a different route. Now I'm going with a college kid, a kid that we have talked about in the past, Dave. Talked about him as a draft prospect. He played for the KU Jayhawks, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. I know they're not doing so good this year. Then he decided to transfer. And we were wondering, okay, he's not who we thought they were. However, the team he plays for, the Houston Cougars, 8th in the nation. They were 5 before they lost, but they are 8th in the nation. He had a great game. That's Quentin Grimes. No, that is not my wet boy. No, my wet boy is not Paige Becker. It changed yours, Dave. It's a little hoodwinked here. Changed mine. Quentin Grimes, Houston Cougars, had almost 30 points last night in a win. And the thing that I wanted to say, not really about Quentin Grimes, but about his team, I do not know who the play-by-play announcer was, but I know Houston, they've been a team all year that have been blowing their opponents out, winning by 25, 30-plus points. They're basically Gonzaga light. That's how they've been. But yet again, they don't competition over there. They don't play in a Power 5 conference. So it's SMU is a big opponent or their toughest opponent, but it's nowhere near what you're seeing in the Big Ten, for example. So I know where the comment came from, but last night they're the play-by-play announcer, she was like, well, the Houston Cougars, I don't know if they're a team that can make a Final Four run. And I was like, really? It took one loss for us to say Final Four favorite, not a Final Four favorite. Anyone, yet again, college basketball is unique. Anyone can lose on any given night.
Yes, sir.
I was telling you of a game today where a kid threw up a half-court shot. Might get the wet boy tomorrow from me, just for that alone. Threw up a half-court shot with 5 seconds left because he saw the shot clock, thought there was 1. And everyone's panicking because he threw away the game. Oh, no, he just made the half-court shot, and they won by 3.
Yep.
So, yet again, anyone can win on any given night. Wanted to give some love to Quentin Grimes, though, for having 30 in a win for the Houston Cougars last night. And the patrons, Dave, they're going to the NBA. Almost said WNBA, but they're going to the NBA. Kawhi Leonard, and it's not LaMelo Ball. So, Dave, your wet boy is the only one that preloaded. I don't know what went wrong today, but it is Kawhi Leonard. 36 points last night, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in a Clipper win, I believe. I believe they won last night. I would have to check.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dave, it's one of those where I did not watch the late games. I was watching Bucks Suns. Ask me anything you want about that one. They won 119 to 112. I know earlier in the game, T-Wolves were giving them a little bit of a scare, though. Naz Reid, Sean's boy Naz Reid, got 23 points in that game.
Naz Reid's the truth on offense. I tell you what, him and McDaniels are the future of this team.
Mm-hmm.
I love McDaniels out there. But yeah, no, good game for Kawhi. No complaints. He's just an assassin out there doing what he does. It's just, honestly, in the honor of Kawhi Leonard, doesn't really interest me. Hit 36 and 8 and 5.
One of those.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, doing it without PG too. PG, I believe this was the second game he was missing. I don't know if he's coming back for the next one. But Dave, before we get into the next topic, let's talk about the sponsor of today's show. If you are sitting there at home going, Ricky, you know what, my balls, I need to trim them. I need to make sure they're all what's the word? Prim and proper. That's what I'm looking for. Manscaped can help you out. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped.com, who is the best in below the waist grooming for men. It offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped is backed by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. Dave, we talk about it all the time, the Lawnmower 3.0. I absolutely love this thing. Keeps the balls nice and smooth. Sometimes you're just sitting there going, wow, I never had smoother balls. And if you want your play to be as good in the bedroom as it is on the court, you got to go ahead and get the Lawnmower 3.0. You can get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com using the code MVP. That is 20% off and free shipping using the code MVP at manscaped.com. Go ahead. Your balls will thank you. And Dave, this is kind of a topic where I know you are going to hate it, but it's one that came up today. I know we have talked about it recently. We're not getting back into the Victor Oladipo talks. If you want to get into what we said there, go ahead. I'll probably have it pop up on YouTube over our heads so you can see it.
Have to flip?
It's not a table flip, Dave. It's not your favorite guy in the world. It's just a little bit of Knicks news where now the articles that are coming out, the one that I have is from AM New York, which says the headline is Knicks keeping tabs on Bradley Beal and Victor Oladipo. Article reads, the Knicks aren't necessarily committed to all their youngsters, though the kids, paired with proper leadership, are providing a shed of light at the end of a 2 decades-long tunnel of incompetence. According to Mark Berman of the New York Post, the Knicks refused to include the likes of guards Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox in the trade for Derrick Rose earlier this week because they could be dangled in a potential larger deal. Right now, it says that the Knicks are keeping tabs on Bradley Beal, who plays for Washington, Victor Oladipo, who plays for the Rockets. Dave, I don't want to ask you if Bradley Beal or Victor Oladipo are getting traded. We've already given
those players are going up against the Knicks in the next week, by the way.
Bingo. We know that both those players are not getting traded. We have said it. I've said it. You've said it. The thing I want to kind of talk about a little bit is if those two are off the table, will the Knicks look otherwhere or elsewhere? Will they be wheeling and dealing? Are the Knicks done? Or are they going to pursue another trade somewhere, whether it is Beal or Oladipo or not, in order to bolster this playoff run that they are gearing up for by getting Derrick Rose?
Well, Ricky, if you drop in that Knicks subreddit, they think they've got so much capital over there to deal with. I did hear another name come up in interest, and it was Zach LaVine, our very own Zach LaVine.
Nope, not for sale.
And they were like, well, Frank, Kevin Knox, and a Mavs first rounder seems like an overpay for Zach LaVine. And they upvoted that. And that should tell you right there why I think all fans are blind to the understanding of how much value is actually associated with their own team's talent and with draft picks, because they are so fucking dumb when it comes to their own team. Like, that's why you're fans. You're fanatics. You do not have any logic applied anymore. Like, it's so goddamn dumb and infuriating to read this shit that I mean, look, New York's in its own fucking category as far as its fandom, its hatred, its love, its passion. Yeah. I will always respect that. But, like, trying to talk trades for the Knicks is just it's a fucking waste of time at times because they have no idea of what the value is. Like, that's like I said, I literally just named 2 guys who can't sniff the fucking court for this Knicks team. Who are like those 2 plus the first rounders kind of an overpay for literally the best offensive player in the NBA this year. And I'll tell you.
Yeah, and like I get it. I get why the Knicks are like the Bradley Beal one to me is like I don't get it. Only because like the Wizards have said yet again, any teams can say whatever they want, but Bradley Beal is not getting traded this year. Like, he's not. Like, there's no inclination of them being like, yeah, we're going to deal Bradley Beal. Victor Oladipo is interesting. I think there's a chance there. Slim, but a chance. We even talked about before of, do you even want to trade for Victor Oladipo? Because he's got his mind, and it looks like his eyes, set on the South Beach of Miami. So really that looks like a rental. To me, really then what other pieces could the Knicks go out and get? And it's like, for me, the only one that I see, and yet again, Hoop Central tweeting about this today via, yet again, Mark Berman of the New York Post that says J.J. Redick would prefer a trade to the Nets or Knicks via New York Post Berman. Is that enough for the Knicks? Like, I don't want to say that J.J. Redick wouldn't be good for the Knicks. He would. If they added him to the team, he would at least add more leadership to this young team, and to me would kind of be like a Derrick Rose-like move, where it's Derrick Rose is good, but Derrick Rose is past his prime. He's living in the after years of the prime. Yet again, a knee injury will do that to you. But he's still playing well. J.J. Redick, we've talked about not playing so hot, might need a change of scenery, wants to go to the Northeast where obviously the Knicks are. He would be more of that, where it's like, hopefully the change of scenery helps him out. Hopefully playing with Tibbs would help him out, but his leadership is why you would add him to this team. But yet again, would that necessarily be the right move? Because would J.J. Redick just be a rental at the end of the year, where it's like, he ain't staying here, he's moving on, he's not staying in New York?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how adding either one of those players would help them win more games. They're both decent players, but at the same time, like, this is the eternal struggle of Tom Thibodeau. Why build up if you can just compete from day one, you know? This is a team with young talent, with RJ, Quickly, Obi, Big Mitch, Kevin Knox. But instead, they're like, nah, we're a playoff team now, guys. We're going for those fucking playoffs. Fuck it. Like, I respect what Tom Thibodeau can do to a defense and to a scheme and to getting those guys motivated. But at the same time, I wonder, is his incessant push for the playoffs damaging long-term to these players' growth potential and opportunities? And I think yes. I think that this is, you're trying to rush something that needs to come naturally to this Knicks team. And I think you guys are set for the long haul, but they seem to not be interested in that.
Mad Rogue says, do you think the Knicks are trying to pull off what the Thunder tried to pull off last year? I believe what he's talking about was with the Chris Paul, where I don't think that was last year. Was that last year?
It was literally last year.
Okay. Where they trade for Chris Paul, they do make the playoffs, but then it's like they're not a playoff team this year after getting rid of Chris Paul. Part of me goes, I don't know if they're trying to do what the Thunder did or what they're trying to do what Tom Thibodeau did literally the last coaching spot that he had. Where, think about the T-Wolves. He came in, they were not a playoff team. He brought in an old Chicago Bull that he had in the day in order to try to help him get to the playoffs. They did get to the playoffs. How has that worked for Minnesota? Has it made Cat any better? Has it made the young players that were on that team any better?
No.
Like, it's great to be in the playoffs. It's great to have playoff experience. Like, I talked up the last time we talked about the Knicks, where it's like RJ and Julius Randle having those that playoff experience when they get back. It's like, okay, this is what I kind of know what to expect. But it's like, yeah, that's great, but are you going to get back with this team? Or is it just going to be, hey, we tried to make a playoff run, it didn't work. Derrick Rose, like, I'm talking 2 years down the line. Oh, Derrick Rose ain't here anymore. This other vet we traded for aren't here anymore. Did it help our young players? No. And that's why it's like, with the Knicks, should they be looking to do what most bad teams do? Hey, let's go out there, do the best thing to help our players develop, or should they keep on the Tom Thibodeau thing of like, hey, we're going to push for the playoffs, be damned if it helps our players, playoffs sell tickets, and that gets money. However, this year, that's not even a case because no one's fucking at games right now.
Well, I think there's a couple people, and they're paying quite a lot to go to those games.
Good point.
But, yeah, it's just... I think that they're a team that in the East this year, yes, they can compete for a spot going to the playoffs. I 100% believe that because that's like I said, how close the East will be this year. But again, we're targeting twos. We're targeting guys who are going to play two. Well, your best prospect is RJ Barrett, who he's a 2-3.
Yeah.
Your next best rookie is Emmanuel Quickly, who is a 2. So you're stunting the growth of literally your rookie pick. You've already stunted Obi Toppin. I don't want to say stunted, but Julius Randle has been shining down up there in New York like an all-star talent. And Obi Toppin has not looked like a stud that we all expected him to be offensively coming into the league. So obviously injury will do that to you, but he played a couple games before, a couple games after. Kind of looks like who he is who he is right now. Jamming veterans in front of your young players who would benefit greatly from just playing time, minutes. I mean, it's the Chris Dunn thing. Like, Chris Dunn averaged like 5 minutes a game under Tom Thibodeau his rookie year. It's like, the fuck are you doing? Like, how you don't have to compete for the playoffs year one. You can be very impressive with what you've built, and if you just, that's perfectly fine. It sets the tone, sets the track, sets the pace. But by jamming veterans in over these young kids, like, long term, you're hurting the team. And I think that's always been the problem with Tom Thibodeau, is he always wants to just have that success. I mean, if we're being honest, he's like, I fucking want another guard to this team. Like, let's be realistic about who they should go after. Like, Malik Beasley is a name who they should probably go after. He's someone who seemingly could be the odd man out up there with how your boy, who you claim is the biggest bust of the draft,
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Patrick. Nope, Anthony Edwards. You said it right the first time. I know you didn't mean to, but you said it right the first time. Anthony Edwards is playing up there in the starting lineup, and I'm like, oh, well, that's if they're looking for just a scorer who has incredible upside. Like, yeah, he's not a smart guy clearly because jail, but like, he is a good player. So if they want to go out and get somebody who might be available, I would look at him. I would talk to Charlotte in a little bit and see if Devontae Graham slides into that second unit, and if they're willing to move on from him because LaMelo Ball's awesomeness. It just, there's a lot of guys who are in that second tier. Maybe not the top of the line guys who they're, this is a blockbuster deal. Yeah. Like, I don't think those guys are really available for them. So I don't know. Is that crazy to think that,
I don't think that's crazy. That isn't, because, like, for example, you're listing off guys that are in the same threshold as JJ Redick would be to me. Like, JJ Redick, Devontae, better than JJ Redick, but like, they are players that you're not going to be giving, like, they could be deals like the Beasley deal you threw out, the Devontae Graham deal. You can get those done and probably not have to give up Frank or Kevin Knox.
No, you could give those up. You'd be fine to give those up. That would actually value-wise correct.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if they didn't want to, because the whole big thing was they didn't want to include them in the Derrick Rose deal because they saw a larger deal coming down the road. Like, if you still feel like, no, I don't want to give up Frank and or Kevin Knox in case a Bradley Beal becomes available after this year, I think you can get a Graham or a Beasley deal done without giving up those two. Like, if the Knicks absolutely wanted to keep them.
Sure, why not?
Yet again, I don't know why the Knicks are hankering down to those two. Like, I mean, out of the two, Frank would be the one that I would probably want more than Kevin Knox. But do you think any team really values either Frank or Kevin Knox?
Not super highly. I mean, again, they have not played much this year. Frank literally played the first 4 games of the year, and that's it.
Yeah,
he's been inactive, or DNP coach decisions since. Knox, I think, had shown some promise early this season. But again, it's like, at this point, DNPs. So is this one medical, though? I feel bad because I don't actually know for Knox. I know for Frank. News. No, I think he's just getting healthy DNPs. So again, like, why are we giving a fuck about, like, why do you think these players are valued so highly?
And even like Devontae Graham and JJ Redick fall under the same tree of, like, Devontae Graham and both JJ, the Knicks technically do not have to give up a player to make the contracts work. They could just give up for like Devontae Graham, it could be the elusive, like, I will throw 2 seconds your way. Or if you think a first is his value, I will throw you the Clippers first. Like that was me for the JJ of like.
I think Frank in 2 seconds for Graham would be interesting. I don't know if they would take it. It might take a restricted first to get there.
Because I mean,
I think Graham's still a good player. I mean, I think that him being a point guard of a team with different weapons out there would help them. And well, it's nice to have 2 guards on your team between LaMelo and Graham. I think that he becomes a luxury who will need a payday at some point. So why are you guys going to be the ones who pay him? You know, in Charlotte, I don't know, probably not.
How much do you think Devonta Graham gets? Because like for me, I'm thinking like it can't be more than 15, right? It's probably going to be less than that, right? Because right now he's the 1.6, but he's going to get paid after this year.
Probably in that 15 range because numbers wise, he is a starting point guard who can shoot well from the outside, and can facilitate well. So I don't know. That's a fair question, Ricky. I think that probably I would guess probably 15 seems about right for him. Devontae. Yep, there we go. Sorry, my spot rec takes for fucking ever to load. Yeah.
And it's so weird too because like draft pick wise, it says own or swap for Clippers 5 through 30 and Dallas. Does that mean they won't have the Clipper pick because the Clipper pick will be worse than theirs, and obviously they're not gonna swap it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, New York has the right to swap its first round pick for the Clippers' first round pick, protected for selections 1 through 4. If the pick falls in the protected range and is therefore not conveyable, the Clippers obligate. Okay, so yeah, they don't have the Clipper pick in all honesty. So they have their own, and then they have the Dallas pick. It's like at this point, the Dallas pick is even with how close the records are. Dallas's pick right now is 12, so I ain't fucking giving that up. Like I ain't giving up a lottery pick for JJ Redick or Devonta Graham. So it'd have to be Frank in 2 seconds, or if 2 seconds gets it done. Like for JJ, do you think? Let's say that's the one. Do you think 2 seconds can get that done, or do the Pelicans want a player?
I don't. JJ has no value in my mind. Like he's purely a locker room guy at this point in his career. His shooting's been terrible. Now that's not to say he's a worthless player because he can still get hot, but like I just don't. I don't know. He ain't the same. He doesn't get the same spring in the step, whatever you want to call it.
He ain't what he used to be. That's what you're saying.
He's getting warmed up as the season goes on, I guess technically, but still. I'm not going to say in 5 games he's turned around his shooting split completely, but he is shooting better in the last 5.
At the end of the day, do you think that the Knicks?
But why? Why you get him? I'm still hung up on that, Ricky. Why? You have Emmanuel Quickley. You have RJ Barrett. My fucking screen moved.
I love it. Well, I would say the only reason the Knicks get him is they want a veteran leader on this team. That's it. That's the only value he brings to me in this situation. Like, I get what you're saying. I mean, unless Tom Thibodeau feels like, hey, for this year, because JJ Redick would only be here a year, he'd be veteran leadership to this team, and Emmanuel Quickley can be our score, like exactly what we peg Kobe White as right now. Of like, for this year, he can be our scoring option, our fire starter off the bench. Like, unless that's your mind. Otherwise, it's like, what? You can obviously start Rose, Quickley, and RJ Barrett out there and have that be a lineup. Like, that would get the most. Like, that would be the most for the development of Emmanuel Quickley in my mind. Playing next to Derrick Rose most nights, so you can kind of have that chemistry on the court. And he's getting minutes, so like he's going to get minutes anyways, even if he's on the bench.
Yeah, it's just the idea. Bench. Yeah, I mean, it's Tom Thibodeau. He's going to play 38, you know?
those knees will be dead, Dave. They're dead.
It just goes back to like what is the future perfect lineup for this team? What's their starting 5 going to look like? Like, you love the idea of having, you know, I guess the question comes down to, is Randall your future? Are you going to keep him, or are you going to flip him? Big Mitch, we expect to be the future. RJ expect to be the future. Quickly, we expect to be the future. So we're looking at one wing maybe and another guard. And That's why I'm like, why are we talking about getting Bradley Beal and Victor Oladipo? Supreme talent does trump position. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know that either one of those, Vic or Beal, will be available to them.
Oh, I
so
don't think either one will. I think that
why
Vic
are we
could be
talking about
available,
getting,
but
yeah, why are we talking about getting somebody who fits on top of a young player who should just get minutes? You know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Final line. Do the Knicks make another deal? Any deal, doesn't matter what it is.
Yes, they will.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel the same. If they're monitoring those two situations, I feel like they will not want to be sitting on their hands at the trade deadline. Will it be good for them, bad for them? I don't fucking know, but we'll have to wait and see what they do. And Dave, the last bit of trade rumors we're getting into on the NFL side, some things are spicing up about Derek Carr. Now, before we get into it, the comment section is going to say, the Raiders have already said that he is off the table and will not be traded. This is just a fun conversation. Because
never heard that before.
Teams could totally say that and then change their mind on a drop of a hat if the right offer is put out there. But two little stories coming out about this is, number one, CBS has, it's becoming a yearly occurrence. This offseason, there have been rumblings about the availability of Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Derek Carr and if he could be involved in what promises to be a widely entertaining edition of the quarterback carousel. According to a recent report, however, the Raiders haven't shown interest in parting ways with their starting signal caller. On Wednesday, Carr's brother and current analyst David Carr said on the NFL Network that teams have called the Raiders and made offers for Carr, but all have been told no, according to James Palmer. Apparently, there have been, it says a report from SI's Albert Breer would indicate the former is most likely, so them keeping him, as he reported on Monday that he was told pretty strongly that Carr is not available for a trade. But there's rumors out there that 4 teams are interested. Dave, one of them we may know. If
one of them we may have talked about in a previous Derek Carr to the Chicago Bears segment on this very show 2 years ago.
No, not the Bears.
Oh, the Bears are linked to him.
The Bears are linked to him, but there are reports coming out that the Washington football team have called the Raiders and said, hey, what would it take? What would it take to get Derek Carr from Las Vegas into Washington, D.C. to play for the football team? Dave, we'll start there. Should the Raiders be enticed by the Washington football team to get a deal done if that number 19 pick is involved? Because I would feel like it would have to be involved for Derek Carr.
I mean, you know how much the Raiders have always wanted a pass rusher. I mean, the Washington football team does do pass rushing pretty fucking good.
You trying to say Chase Young's on the table? Is that what Dave's trying to say?
Chase Young's on any table anywhere. But I am saying that, if there is a pass rusher to be had, the Raiders would be appreciative of it. David Carr, I'm glad he's talking about his little bro getting fucking picks. That's always fun. But like, I don't think Carr is worth a first. I'm being an asshole there.
Okay.
And be like, well, Matt Stafford went for what?
Matt Stafford went for a couple first. Let's see. Matt Stafford. No, that's the article that came out today. Let's see if Wikipedia has it.
Because I would rank Stafford as better than Carr.
But
the question is by how much?
I'll look into it. I'll find you that answer, Dave.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, that you start with Stafford, but Stafford's better than Carr is, and I think that Carr is probably worth considerably less. So yeah, he might be worth a first and a sixth, maybe a first and a sixth.
So the Rams sent a 2022 first, and a 2023 first, a 3rd round pick this year, to the Lions and Jared Goff. So basically they got Goff, the Rams' next 2 years of 1st round picks in 2022 and 2023, and then a 3rd round pick this year. So
I would say Carr's worth a 1 and a 6.
Okay. So yeah,
I mean, the whole reason I don't believe it's going to happen is because the Raiders want to make sure Marcus Mariota is healthy before trading Carr. I think you're going to see this in the right before the season starts. Carr will be available if Marcus Mariota is 100% healthy. That's how that team looks going forward. They looked phenomenal for a little bit with Mariota running and gunning back there. And I know everybody's like, well, that was just temporary, and once defense is yada yada yada. If that man can feel his whole hand that he throws football with, he's a good quarterback still.
Yeah,
he still is a very good quarterback. So I think that's their long-term plan. It's just they don't want to sell out on Carr now and not have a guarantee that Mariota will be healthy at the start of the season.
It's also funny too because so they mentioned 4 teams. We know one of them, which is apparently Washington.
The Bears are another.
You think so? The teams that all the teams that the other 3 could be, the Niners need a quarterback. The Bears have been in quarterback discussions. The Colts have been in quarterback discussions. And even the Panthers have reached out. I don't know if that was just a Deshaun Watson thing where they've
reached out to all teams.
Here you go. Which of those, because obviously 4, one of them has to be off. The Bears, I feel would be involved because Eric kind of brings up a good point of does it even matter with the reuniting Derek Carr with Khalil Mack? I know they're on 2 different sides of the ball.
We've traded with the Raiders before, so we have a rapport. That's the whole thing. Hey, we did a win-win deal with you guys. Let's do another.
Yeah. I feel like for me it's the Bears, the Colts, the Washington football team, and I'll say
Panthers.
The Niners. I'm on the
and
other
the
side.
Panthers over the Niners.
Okay.
And the Panthers, they try to get Stafford. They try to get wow, I blanked on Deshaun Watson's name. But I think they really don't like Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
So my guess is that they're going to try to get Carr as well. I don't see Carr going there. I don't see that as an ideal fit for either party. And again, the value that they offered for Matt Stafford was probably I don't know, it wasn't great. I think they were the ones who did the 1 and a 6 for Stafford. So that shows how far off they were really from being actually in the game. But I think that is the right value for Carr. Now, do I think they offer that for Carr? No. That's sort of the problem.
Yeah.
I think they're going to lowball because they have a quarterback who can get the job done, but he's not necessarily a franchise quarterback per se.
That's why to me it's out of the team, the Panthers may be a team that obviously I left them off mainly because of that fact of Deshaun Watson to Derek Carr are 2 different players. Plus, like you said, I would take, if I had a choice between Stafford and Carr, I would take Matthew Stafford too before I took Derek Carr. So maybe that was just we'd be stupid not to throw out an offer for these 2. But if a Derek Carr's out there, they're nah, we don't need to do that. Yet again, do they value Carr more than Bridgewater? Okay. So you're just lowballing.
Yeah, I think they're just checking the waters, seeing what the temps are.
The other team that I think could be the one out is I want to say the Colts because they've always seemed like a team that was from what they've said, it's never been yes, we're going to go get a quarterback. It's always been well, we have a plan. We don't need to sell the farm or anything. So to me, it's the Colts have been the team where it's we'll inquire, but we're not going to basically beat up ourselves to try to get a quarterback or try to trade for a quarterback, I should say. Because there are options out there in free agency. Ryan Fitzpatrick is sitting out there. Jimmy G might be that's the thing with the Niners. Are they sitting to where it's Jimmy G is an option just to come back? Carson Wentz. He is also traded yet again. Dave, it's almost Friday. We haven't gotten a deal. We were trying to get a deal.
Carson Wentz. Sorry, Colts.
Wentz is a Colt, so that's why they're not asking for Derek Carr because you think that deal
the
gets
Bears
done?
tried and we got deadlocked on the asking price. I think the Colts are still the obvious choice because of the coach connection.
Okay,
so I think Carr is likely Washington football team, Bears, or I guess Niners bound. The Niners one would be weird to me, but I could see that. I could see him working well in that Niners offense. That's the thing. I like Carr. I think he could make it work over there.
The thing with the Niners is I see them as a team of do they panic? Do they panic and be we got to trade for a quarterback because we can't bring Jimmy G back?
Right there.
Like, how much faith do they have in Jimmy G? Because, like, the 49ers could just be a team like, hey, we're just going to come back healthy next year, and we're going to run it back. Which, did you hear the comments from Bruce Arians yesterday, Dave?
No.
When he was asked about, like, running it back, and he's like, fuck no, that's a Chiefs thing. We're going to win another one.
Nice.
Like, there's no running it back. We're for sure going to win. Also, Tom Brady saying you got a little tipsy on the avocado tequila, Dave.
That's hilarious.
A little avocado tequila there. But with this one, at the end of the day, throw it in there because obviously got to talk about it. But yet again, I don't see Carr getting moved, mainly because what you said. They have Marcus Mariota. I'm not even sure they like Mariota more than Carr. It's just a thing of we want both quarterbacks. They're not going to trade Carr. Mariota then starts, doesn't work out. Then they're sitting there like this going, holy shit, we had Derek Carr. Now we have just Mariota. So I feel like they're just going to play both quarterbacks. Whichever one, if Carr's injured and Mariota's better, Gruden will go to Mariota. If Derek Carr gives him the best chance to win, there will be an open competition, I feel like. And then if he loses, then maybe the conversations then start. But right now, I don't see any. Any final thoughts, Dave, before we end the show?
No.
That is going to do it then for MVP Sports Live. Thank you guys for doing everything you do each and every day. Remember, join the Discord, greatest community in the universe down below if you're not in it already. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids or throwing us a sub on Twitch if you want to help us out. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. We are also on YouTube at MVP Sports, so like, follow, sub at all of those locations. Dave and I will be back tomorrow, a fun Friday to end the week with all your sports news. Thank you guys for watching us today, and as always, have a good day, everybody.
WPN.